Hello! In today's video, I am going to be walking you through how I will be gaining as much power as possible with the resources I have in order to get 1.5 million power in the Royal Rankings event as a free-to-play player. In this event, you're going to want to play it more as a marathon instead of a sprint, even though it is only 7 days. So you will want to be somewhat conservative with your speed-ups in the beginning, not spending very many on training or research until your building level is high enough. You will spend some speed-ups on research in order to max out your scholarship technology, and then to also max out your architecture technology once you have it available. But other than that, you don't want to spend speed-ups in your School of Sages or your research building. And as far as troops go, you can spend some troops if you need them in order to, say for example, fight a behemoth. But other than that, you should not be spending speed-ups until you have your building speed-ups completely spent, and ideally you get to City Hall level 16 or 17. Before you go ahead and do a lot of speeding up of your buildings, you want to also make sure you have a rune. So here we have a 5% building speed rune, and I now have all of the helps in for my City Hall, so we'll go ahead and finish that off. And now we will be going to the New Age, or whatever it is called. It's a fun little animation here. And this means we will be able to unlock tier 3 units, which will give us a decent amount of power. However, in order to gain 1.5 million power at the start, you're going to want to train tier 2 units instead of tier 3 units. The power is just coming from actually unlocking the tier 3 units. So we're going to go ahead and start 2 new buildings. So we're going to start our Alliance Center, and we're going to finish off the Foundry and level up the Foundry one more time as well. And the reason that we are doing that is that the Foundry is the prerequisite for leveling up the Sacred Hall to level 17 for the Longleaf Arch. I am going to put a screenshot on screen here of the requirements that are needed for upgrading your Sacred Hall every time, as well as that will also be in the video that comes before this video and is released after, that is more of a jumper guide. Later on in this video, we will also be covering how to gain power in several other ways, and of course I still need another 700,000 power in order to make it to 1.5 million, so surely I have some tricks up my sleeve, and indeed I do. So I'm going to go ahead and wait for some helps until I get the 19 that I need for this Alliance Center and this Foundry, and then I will be right back. One thing that is unfortunate at the start of the season is after the first couple of days where the majority of people get all their helps done and they do their little blitz at the first day or second day, then it does take a little bit longer to get helps. So waiting for the very end of the Royal Rankings event means that you're going to have to be on for a longer period of time in order to get your upgrades done. However, it will still be more efficient. So that's what I'm doing. And now that we've gotten that done, let's go ahead and speed up our Alliance Research Center. And there we go. And now we can upgrade our School of Sages. And this will be the last building upgrade that we do for today. And aside from these very quick Foundry upgrades, so we'll go ahead and start another one of these. But as you can see, our speed ups are starting to run a little bit low, so we are going to relax on upgrading our buildings. And that means that we likely will not make it to City Hall 17, but that is completely okay. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to grab a research stone, and off video in my own time I am going to go ahead and go into the research tree and push the architecture technology and also the conscription technology. Since I'm not planning on going to City Hall 17 for this 1.5 million power push, I think what I'll be doing first is likely the conscription technology. That way I can go ahead and use my training speedups on a bunch of tier 2 archers. I will also likely be unlocking one tier 3 unit. We'll go ahead and see what that actually looks like later. However, it's going to take a lot of time to get help, so I will be doing that on my own time. And now what we are going to be talking about is how I will be getting the rest of this 700,000 power that I still need. In order to do that, we are going to be leveling up our heroes. As you can see already, the majority of my power, or a large percentage of my power, is coming from hero power, and that is going to continue to increase. If we go into our heroes, a lot of my heroes are level 1 and they are not starred up yet. So we will be getting quite a bit of value and power from doing that. One thing that's important to note is it is important to not go in and star up your commander until you max out their first skill. So follow the advice that I will be giving you in this video, but make sure not to make that mistake, as it will make your hero far less effective in the open field and essentially useless. It will very severely handicap your account if you decide to unlock the second skill before you max the first one on your heroes, unless it is a gathering hero. So how we are going to do this is that I have some reserves saved up, I have some experience tomes, and I also have some CP recovery. The CP recovery I am going to be using again off video in order to level up certain commanders, like for example Velen and Thea, basically the legendary commanders that I can actually use for killing Darklings, but the ones that I can't use, like Emrys, Nika, and Garwood, I'm going to go ahead and level them up. Let's start by maybe leveling them up to 10. Yeah, let's level them up to like 10. This would allow us to 2-star them if we'd like, but leveling them up to 10 gives us some power, and applying talents as well also gives us power. What you can do is you can go and look at talent trees for these heroes if you would like, but you do get 1 free reset per hero as well, and a lot of these heroes you likely won't actually end up using. So you get 500 experience, or you get 500 power for talent point applied. So if we go ahead and do this to all of these heroes, that will add up over time. It's not an insane amount of power every single time that you do it, but it does add up. So let me go ahead and do that, and I will be right back. So now that we are done with that, we can go ahead and take a look at how much power we gained, and we gained about 70,000 power. So that's 10% of the way there. We definitely still have a little ways to go. Let's go back in and we can add a little bit more power by leveling up the skills on our heroes. And one thing that I would like to add is something that I will mention in the video that comes out after this is you do want to spend experience tomes early on your gathering commanders in order to level up your Earth's Grace. At least get the first one unlocked. That way you can go ahead and start gathering or getting gathering experience on your commanders. So one thing that's important as well that I actually forgot to do here is you probably want to level up your elite commanders to level 10. That way you can use some of their skill tokens in that second slot. However, I will be able to gather enough experience before this event ends in order to actually do that, so I will be okay. Just remember to do that for your own account. One thing that you can do as well if you need some more of these skill tokens is you can go into the top right and click on this book, and then you can click this gift button here and you can gift the hero Sweet to. So if you get a hero up to level 4, you get 10 tokens in total from them, 2 from level 2, 3 from level 3, and then 5 from level 4. And the way to get this is to go into your city and interact with the hero when they show up, like Ordo here for example. So what you're going to want to do is go into all of your heroes and get them all to level 4, and every time you level up a hero's skill, based on the rarity level, you will get a certain amount of power, and doing this will help you with getting towards your 1.5 million power goal. So yeah, as you can see here, I'm not going to be getting very much power. It's 3,000 power for a epic. I believe it is 4,000 power for a legendary and 2,000 for an elite. Those numbers may be slightly off, but either way, it's power gain, and you should be going for that. And here you can see now that I leveled up a bunch of my heroes with Sweet 2. I have quite a few in my city to interact with. So you're going to want to click the exclamation mark, then click skip, and then you can click on that hero again when they show up and get even further into their dialogue. So I think that the system's kind of overloaded because of how many I had, so it will take a little bit of time in order to get through all of their dialogues. Sometimes if you only have one hero in your city with the exclamation mark, after you do that you can go in again, and even though the exclamation mark doesn't show up, you can click the button in the bottom to interact with them and see their dialogue. However, for now I think I have overloaded the game, so that's not an option. Anyways, every time you level up those skills, it will give you some more power. So now that we've talked about the base hero power and skills, we also need to talk about artifacts. Leveling up your artifacts is going to give you a lot of power. We're talking several 100,000. So let's go ahead and do that. The most efficient way to level up your artifacts is to first level up the artifact skill. So we will want to do that. As you can see, we gain 400, then 800 power, and it goes up depending on the skill level that you apply. So we want to level up all of these, and then after we do that, as high as we can, we're going to want to spread out our dust. Now you will be getting more power gain depending on the rarity of the artifact, so you're going to want to slightly stagger the experience put into your artifacts depending on their rarity tier. However, you don't need to think about this too much, just keep them a level or two apart. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you an example of that. So let me go ahead and show you how this works. We have a legendary artifact on Chakcha, a epic artifact on Kella, a advanced artifact on Ordo, and we have a elite artifact on Alistair. So when we apply a level to a legendary artifact, we get 300 power. When we apply one to a epic artifact, we get 300 power. And when we apply one to a elite artifact, we get 200 power. And we apply one to a epic artifact, we get 100 power. So you can level up your legendary and your epic artifacts at the same rate, but then keep in mind that you get 50% less, or sorry, 33% less for leveling up a elite artifact compared to an epic one, and 66% less for leveling up a advanced artifact. But when you do go into your, let's say, legendary artifact, and I level this guy up to like 15, you are going to get more power per dust spent. Like here, if I spent 5,000 dust, I would get 300 power. But if I spent 5,000 dust on this artifact, that's an advanced artifact, I get 700 power. So just keep that in mind as you're going in and spending your dust. You don't have to think about it too much, but you do want to space it out. So now I'm going to go ahead and level up all of these artifacts in here to a decent level, and I'll be back once I have spent all of my dust. So now that I have used basically all of my dust, and I have applied the levels in an equal way in order to gain the most power possible, let's go ahead and do the one more thing that we can do in this screen, is that is spend the rest of our extra emblems. You should only have advanced emblems left at this point, since unless you're opening a ton of artifact keys, you shouldn't be able to max out all of your elite artifacts yet. So let's go ahead and spend these advanced artifacts. They aren't going to give us a ton of value. Let's see, we probably want to level up our magic bomb to 2 stars. This does take 8 emblems per artifact, and it only gives you a little bit of power, so it's not anything too crazy. But yeah, just go ahead and level up some of your artifacts to 2 stars. It's 300 power each, so again, not much, but hey, it is something. And one thing as well is that leveling up your legendary artifact, if you have one, to 2 stars, will take 12 emblems instead of 8, but it will give you 700 power instead of 300 power. So that is higher value. Anyways, now that I am done spending these, let's go ahead and take a look at where my power's at. It's at 938,000, but that is because I haven't gone in and put the artifacts on my heroes yet. And as we mentioned earlier, these guys would periodically appear in your city. So let's go ahead and get 2 hero tokens from Belen, and then we click his exclamation mark again and get 3 more, and then 1 more time and we get 5 more Belen tokens. And now we can go ahead and add a skill onto Belen, and that'll give us 5,000 extra power. So now let's go ahead and apply these artifacts, and it doesn't really matter who you apply them to. You just want to say, okay, so this hero doesn't have an artifact yet, so let's put an unassigned artifact onto her, and we get 6,900 power. Let's go ahead and do this with all of our heroes. And now every single hero has an artifact on them, and we have this 1 elite artifact left, so we are going to replace this advanced one that's currently on Tara. And now as of that, we get 450 extra power from changing the artifact that's on Tara. So now all of our heroes have an artifact on them, and we will be able to put the Joyous Firework onto our Eliana when we end up unlocking her, or if we get another legendary hero. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our power once again after we applied this skill onto Garwood. Very nice Garwood, looking at 4-0 without spending any tokens on him. And we're now at 973 power, almost up to 1 million. And we can get across that 1 million power marker by going ahead and working on our pets. So your pets are going to unlock when you have 1 or 2 days left on your Royal Rankings event. So it depends on how quickly you get your Augerstone done with these earlier stages. But we do have 2 days of pets capturing, so I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of that now. For my account, I want to work on Shadow Manticores, so we're going to go ahead and take this nice level 10 Shadow Manticore here after the tutorial goes away. Thank you very much. And I will also go ahead and take another Shadow Manticore after this, and then I will be back in the Pet Sanctuary to show you how to get the most power possible. Okay, so we're finally capturing our second Shadow Manticore. Gonna go ahead and purify this guy. And now let's go into our Pet Sanctuary and we can start working on our pets. So when you get your pets, you're going to want to collect these little affection pet tokens. Then you can go into your gift draw and you can do 1 lucky pull at the start. And normally you won't get anything, but if you do, hey, that's some extra power gain. And now we're going to want to go into our enclosure. We're being told to release a pet, so we will of course do that. It is a forced part of the tutorial. My bad for not doing this first. And now it's also going to force us to put it onto this pet, I believe. Anyways, I wanted to skip through that tutorial. Unfortunately, we did not get a pet with a talent here, but that's okay. We're going to use some of our regeneration potions anyways, and we're actually going to use it on this pet instead, since it has this Blood Roar skill that we like. And what we're looking for here is a epic pet with 5 or more slots. We could take this elite pet, but we do have 44 regen potions, so we don't have to take the first offer it gives us. So yeah, 5 slots here, not bad. And then let's go into our other Shadow Manticore as well, and regen this guy. 4 slots, don't really want to take that. And let's go and try to get a new one. Okay, an elite with 6 slots, we can work with this as well. So, let's accept that. And as you can see, we don't have any pet currency right now. So what we are going to do is we are going to sell this 1-star skill that it gave us in the tutorial. And with that 192 currency, we are going to go ahead and buy some random 0-star skills that we are going to apply to our pets. Just go ahead and buy some of the 40 cost ones. You can get ones that maybe will apply to your pet, like a beast mark or something like that. And then we want to go ahead and apply these to our pet, like so. And after doing that, you can go ahead and put these pets onto your heroes. And this will give you a decent amount of power. So let's go ahead and do that now. If we go back to our hero selection and we put, for example, a Manticore on our Craig, of course we do need it to be level 2, so you do need to spend your food items on it, the joys of the pet system. So it will be a little bit difficult in order to get this done, but in 2 days hopefully you can get some food from the pet gifting system and you'll be able to feed your Manticore. If not, you'll be able to get the affection, I think, from petting it, although, however, you may not have quite enough time. So let's go ahead and put that Shadow Manticore onto our Craig, and he needs to be in the city. Okay, so let's put the Shadow Manticore onto our Velen. Anyways, that is 11,000 power, so a bunch of extra steps, but every time you apply a pet with a few skills on it, that's going to give you some power. Now let's go ahead and remove the pet as well and buy just another random skill. We don't need to think about it too much right now. I think it already has Manic Might, so we'll just buy Shield Breaker. Why not? and then put that onto this pet. Indeed, did already have Manic Might. And, oh, we already have 3 strength skills. Okay, so we'll go ahead and buy Robust Body, I guess. Which gives us a little bit of extra HP. And we got 10,720 power before we put that extra 0-star skill on it. And now we get 11,120. So we get an extra 400 power from buying one of those cheap little 0-star skills, and every single little bit of power helps, especially at the beginning. So one thing to look forward to as you're getting towards the end of your push is getting to 1 million power, and that's going to help you quite a bit. So while it may be looking dim for me right now, since I only have around 1 million power, I do believe that I will be able to get there in time, especially because I do have these CP bags that I still need to spend. And let's actually go ahead and open up 10 gold keys. Okay, we didn't get that, but I still have the CP bags to spend. I have these elite tokens that I can apply to my heroes after spending the CP. I have a ton of training speed ups that I can use on training troops if I need to. This is kind of like a break glass in case of emergency situation, but if I need to, I can use this 7-day speed up on advancing my city hall level to level 17. And there are a bunch of things like that that you can do in case you are worried about not making it. However, I have been doing this very efficiently since I have been so busy. So if you follow the steps in this video, and you also spent a lot of time scouting on your jumper account before you jumped into the new kingdom, it should be fairly easy for you to get to 1.5 million power in the first week as a free-to-play or low-spend player, even if your alliance is not high spend. My alliance right now is gift level 14, which isn't crazy. So I think this is pretty realistic, even though we are at 100 million power in the first week. But yeah, I think that if you just have a little bit more time spent playing than me, you will be able to get there no problem. Of course, remember, like I said, you should probably wait until the last day to train your troops, because you want to max out your conscription policy. And speaking of, it's time for us to start working on that. So we do have our research buff here, and we will start working on that after we get to 1 million power, so that we can actually have these speed ups in order to finish this off. Anyways, I got a bunch of things that I got to work on this account, so I hope you got value from this video. There will be another video coming for new players after this one that will be like a prelude to this, just like how to jump and stuff like that. However, I wanted to get this out as quick as possible for people who are near the end of their Royal Rankings event like me. But yeah, that's it for this video on the Restart account. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.